Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. As Mike's Talks and Thoughts here, back again with another video for you guys. And today we are here with the follow-up to my top 10 TV introductions here, and we have our top 10 TV character conclusions now. And now here are the conclusions. The conclusions are always super difficult, I feel like, for a lot of TV shows to get right, but when they do, they are super satisfying here. And in my opinion, these are my 10 best TV character conclusions of all time. Let me know down in the comment section below your favorite TV character conclusion here. All of these characters, in my opinion, had super good send-offs, and all of these characters here have such unique and different little conclusions, but each fit their character so well here. And there will be some minor spoilers. I'm going to try and do my best here to avoid any major spoilers for these character conclusions, but of course, if I'm talking about the conclusion for these characters, there is going to be some minor spoilers, so keep that in mind here as I proceed here through the list. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into this list here. So coming in here at number 10 is going to be Leslie Knope from Parks and Recreation. She has one of my favorite sitcom conclusions of all time. Leslie was such a determined worker here, and of course a great character played by Amy Poehler throughout Parks and Rec here, and I think that Parks and Rec had one of the better finales of all time, and we get to see her conclusion fit so well with her finally getting the chance to show what she could do, becoming governor here, and of course living out her dream with Ben here is amazing to see. They did her so right here through all the hard work that she had put in throughout the entire show. Leslie just had one of the most satisfying conclusions, especially for a sitcom character here. And coming here at number 9, another character from a sitcom, that is going to be Ted Lasso. Now I know this will be a little bit controversial because a lot of people who watched the Ted Lasso finale thought, they should have ran it back again with Ted Lasso here, but I think that they did a great job of his character conclusion. He also has one of my favorite introductions as well. He didn't make that list, but in this case he does for the conclusions. I feel like what they needed to do in the team bonding and everything that they had gone through throughout the 3 seasons of Ted Lasso, they kind of wrapped up everything, even though they didn't end up winning the big prize in the end, they won something bigger than that, and that was one thing I always appreciated, him finally being able to go back to his son who he had been missing, throughout this entire show here. I thought that it was really heartwarming here, and I absolutely loved it. I think that Ted Lasso is one of my favorite finales of all time. So many great character conclusions to this wonderful comedy, and yeah, Ted Lasso himself having one of my favorites here of all time. Coming in here at number 8, we have the Hound from Game of Thrones. Now this is of course very controversial because I don't think there was anyone in Game of Thrones who had a satisfying finale or conclusion, but in my opinion the Hound easily takes the cake here. A lot of people point out Theon Greyjoy or Jorah Mormont as some of the best, but for me the Hound has my favorite conclusion in the show. He completely fulfills his arc of his hatred for his brother here, and we get the big epic fight between the Hound and the Mountain, which we had been waiting to see throughout the entire show here, and the Hound finally getting his justice here. I love his final conversation with Arya here. He just goes out like a complete G, and that's exactly how Sandor the Hound Clegane should go out here, like an absolute badass. Coming in here at number 7, we have Jimmy McGill / Saul Goodman from Better Call Saul here. This was, of course, a very interesting take on the character conclusion of Saul Goodman / Jimmy McGill. We had followed him for so much in Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. I think that they did an amazing job here of wrapping up Jimmy's story here with so much material to work from, and just having it be a very fitting end to his character here. I think they put him in the right scenario. They had a great finale episode here. They even tied together all, it seems like, the loose ends from the Breaking Bad story and give us a satisfying conclusion here for Jimmy McGill. Him finally admitting to everything was one of my favorite moments in the Breaking Bad universe here, and one of my favorite conclusions of all time. Coming in here at number 6, we have Michael from The Good Place here. Michael here has such an interesting and different conclusion from everyone else, but similar in a way. So honestly, you could have picked anyone from The Good Place of the main characters. It has one of my favorite finales of all time, but I think Michael's character for me has the best, because he has experienced everything that there is to experience in the afterlife and the good place and everything that has to offer. And him finally getting his wish to, sort of live amongst humans and figure out what it's like to be mortal here, and giving life some meaning and importance here. It was absolutely amazing to see, and seeing his final scene, take it sleazy. It's very iconic for The Good Place here. One of my all-time favorite comedies of all time, and they just do such a good job at wrapping together this beautiful story. It's one of my favorite stories ever told in TV here, and Michael here getting my favorite conclusion of the bunch. Coming here next at number 5 is going to be Elliot Alderson from Mr. Robot here. Elliot had been through so much in this show, and him dealing with his multiple personality disorders, and that finally coming to a head as we get the big plot twist at the end of the show here about more on his personality disorder here. And I think that it just gave such a great conclusion to the show, and Elliot does an amazing job here. And finally, giving Elliot, as I would say, for this finale here. It was absolutely incredible, one of my all-time favorite finales, and Elliot's character does pretty much a complete full story arc on from where he started to now where he's finished. I absolutely loved it. Rami Malek was incredible in this show and incredible in the finale here. Coming in here next, number 4, we have Charlie Pace from Lost here. And Charlie here had just such a great moment here. My favorite episode of the show, Through the Looking Glass. Season 3 is absolutely incredible, and I love the build-up they do all season with Charlie. One of my favorites, if not my favorite relationship on the show, is of course Charlie and Claire. So just seeing that develop, and Desmond giving him, these warning signs and telling him, Charlie, like, I've been saving your life, I'm seeing these visions of you, and you dying in them, and it's just comes full circle, and Charlie basically sacrificing himself for Claire and for the rest of the group here, and where they finally have this big confrontation with the others. It was absolutely incredible. I loved it. The Not Penny's boat is one of the best moments of the show here. Him and Desmond, him and Hurley, him and Claire, they were just so much going on for Charlie in season 3. And one of my favorite episodes leading up to Through the Looking Glass is the greatest hits. Charlie's greatest hits. Charlie, of course, knows that his time is coming soon here, and him making the list of the 5 greatest hits here. And it was so sad seeing that list kind of not being showcased here, but I loved it, man. I think Charlie had one of my favorite sending off moments, especially on Lost, with so many different characters and so many people to follow, so many people coming and going, dying, reappearing, disappearing, time travel, mystery, so much going on. I loved his conclusion for Lost here in my favorite episode of the show. Coming here next, number 3, we have Walter White. I Did It For Me. His final conversation with Skylar, absolutely incredible. Him living where he died and die where he lives. I loved that symbolism that they used in Breaking Bad here. Walter just going out like Walter should, man. They did such a great job in the Breaking Bad finale of giving a lot of attention to detail to each one of their characters here. And of course, Walter being the protagonist of the show. I absolutely loved his conclusion. They wrapped up everything, it seemed like, perfectly here, and giving Walter that proper send off and concluding all of these mysteries, while also leaving some up to interpretation that were kind of smaller for Better Call Saul to sort of answer here. I think that they just did a wonderful job in Walter's character conclusion here. Coming here next, number 2 is going to be Jax Teller from Sons of Anarchy here. He, again, just following the journey of Jax from seasons 1 to 7 was absolutely incredible. And again, with the symbolism, that is one thing I love about TV shows, is the symbolism that they use and the characterization. And they used that with Jax Teller in his final ride here in the finale for Sons of Anarchy. And the build-up that had been happening between Jax and Gemma and the rest of the club all of that season, it pays off so well. I feel like, though, in Mayans kind of diminished a little bit of Jax's conclusion, just because there was a conclusion that I had built up in my head, and of course him sacrificing himself for the club here. And Mayans kind of undoes some of that, but I still absolutely appreciate and love his conclusion. Jax is probably my favorite TV protagonist of all time, if not one of my favorites, and I love the way he goes out. Papa's Goods is one of the best episodes of all time, in my opinion, and they just had so much symbolism, so much build-up, and so many episodes that Jax, to me, had one of the best character conclusions of all time. But coming in here at number 1, I'm talking about build-up, payoff, plot twists. The number 1 character conclusion here is going to be Stringer Bell from The Wire. Stringer has the best character conclusion to me, just because his felt so natural and so much in the story that it was so seamless. I loved his character arc from where he started to where he finished, and just coming full circle. It's my favorite scene probably in The Wire, of Stringer's conclusion here. You're just in so much shock and so much suspense, and the build-up had been starting basically from the introduction episode of Stringer, and the payoff is incredible. One of the greatest payoffs in TV history, and for that reason alone, just like I said, the combination of all three, the build-up from the start, the payoff, and the shock or plot twist, as I would say, for the episode of Stringer's conclusion, it just comes together so well. And for that reason, Stringer Bell has my favorite and my number 1 TV character conclusion of all time here. But yeah, that's going to do it here for the TV characters conclusions list top 10 here. Take a look down below in the description for the introductions list if you missed that. And let me know down in the comment section below your favorite TV character conclusion. We'd love to see what you guys have to say. And stay tuned again for more top 10 lists, rankings, and reactions on the Mike's Talks and Thoughts channel here. So yeah, that's going to do it, everyone. Take care and peace out.